Hello and welcome to the Herzog Leadership Series. My name is Riley Stapleton and today I'm joined by Jim Hanlon, Senior Vice President of Product Development for Herzog Technologies. Jim, thank you so much for joining me today.
Good morning, Riley. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So to start, I would love to just kind of hear the story of your career from early on, working to the point that you're at now.
My story started in the railroad industry 27 years ago. So CSX, I hired on as an assistant signalman, which is like the lowest rung of the lowest rung in the signal group. Worked my way up in CSX, left CSX after 9 years, got into construction management, project management, moved over to Herzog in 2011 as I was a project manager at the time, and then just over time, more complicated projects came up. I would take those and just kind of work my way up to where I am now. So,
what do you think has enabled your rise, throughout Herzog and just through your career?
Oh, that's a good question. It's not complicated, honestly. I think people overcomplicate it. Stick to the basics. Show up a little early, work a little late, work hard, pay attention to the details. Know your audience. So know your audience means know who you're working with, know who you're working for. Create less problems than what you solve. And that's kind of another thing is like, hey, if you're a problem solver, that always, from a team perspective, it always helps if you are a problem solver as opposed to a problem bringer. And so I know there was a lot of different things that I said there, but I mean, it's like we've talked about before in the past in these types of settings. It's the basics, it's the blocking, it's the tackling, it's the adherence to basics. It's show some initiative, show some effort. A lot of little things. There's not like one, hey, I did this and that's what propelled me to where I am. It's a lot of little things stacked and stacked and stacked.
Do you think you have any values or beliefs that have attributed to your success?
Yeah, there's it's a strength and a weakness. I think it's humility. I've seen people rise through the ranks and they tend to forget where they came from, and that can also be a strength if you use it the right way. Humility goes a long way. Like I said earlier, I started off at the bottom, worked my way up, but I never forgot where I came from. Part of it's a motivator because I never want to go back to where I came from also. I always want to grow. I always want to expand my knowledge base, all these different things. But humility goes a long way. And it also, humility equals authenticity, in certain regards as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with that question, I feel like humility and honesty come up a lot. Yes. And I find that really interesting. I think it's good to hear everyone from Herzog all saying that.
People can see through the BS and get to who the actual person is. So I would rather just serve up, this is who I am, all my faults, all my weaknesses, all my strengths, and let you or whoever I'm working with make their own determination, not try to polish, and try to represent something that I'm not. That authenticity goes a long, long way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how I feel, and that's why, I try not to cater to anyone. Say what you mean what you say.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, even if people may not love everything about you, I think there's a certain level of respect that just comes with the authenticity.
For sure, yep.
Now, on a more technical side, do you think you have any innate skills or abilities that have helped you?
Yeah, we just talked about humility, then I'm gonna say, yeah, I think I have some innate skills, but I do think that I was lucky enough to fall into a line of work that aligned with how my brain works. And so people see me do it all the time on the team, or people that have worked with me in the past. I talk about seeing a problem and seeing a solution. I'm a very visual person, and so when we're talking about technical problem solving or technical troubleshooting or technical designs, it's always go to the whiteboard, take what's in my brain and then visualize it out or turn it into technical drawings. And so that goes from, prior to the railroad, I worked on electronics. And so I think the skills that I learned there was kind of in that same vein in terms of I can see how things work. And then also learning how to apply that. There are people who are brilliant who can't get their ideas articulated and put it onto paper. They can't figure out how to make that transition. And so there's a communications gap. I think one of my strengths is being able to see a problem, see a solution, articulate it, and help design it. And so that's it's just innate. I don't know where it came from. So.
Being in a leadership position now, what do you find to be the most difficult part of being a leader, and how do you overcome that?
Yeah, it's from a leadership perspective, the hardest thing, in my opinion, is understanding each person that you're working with, their strengths, their weaknesses, and how to connect with them. So we're all different. As a leader, you should at least try to make an effort to understand who you're working with and make some kind of connection. But it can be extremely difficult because people are so different. And so small teams, you would think it's easier. Actually, it can be harder because in larger teams, you can find a thread somewhere that ties everybody together. Smaller teams, it can be more difficult. But yeah, I think it's always comes down to as a leader, it comes down to the relationship that you have with the people around you. And that's the key to leadership, but it's also the hardest piece too. Again, because everyone's different. So
yeah,
there's no magic answer there either.
Yeah, no, that's been a recurring theme just throughout these. Is a lot of people love being a leader because they love the people, and then ask the challenges, and they're like, "Well, it's the people.
It's the people. It is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think, but I'm going to go back to one of my previous answers. If you're authentic about it, and you can use that, hey, I'm trying to. You have to be very balanced on how you do it. Hey, I'm trying to make a connection with you. I'm trying to understand how your brain works, blah, blah, blah. It can come across, if you're doing it inauthentically, it's going to feel very, it's going to feel inauthentic and it's going to feel very forced. But if you can figure out a way to make a connection with people just so they know that you at a personal level are trying to make a connection with them at a personal level, that goes a long way. But it can be difficult. And some people just resist it. They naturally resist it. They just don't want to do it. They just want to do their thing. They want to work on their widget, and they want to be left alone. Which is, there's something to be said for that. But from a leadership perspective, you're always trying to help people grow and get them pointed in the right direction or into additional directions. That's the hardest part, is trying to make the connections with the people.
Can you tell me about a time that in your career that you made a mistake, but you look back at it now and you think that you really learned a lot from it?
This actually ties back to early in my career with Mickey Tomlin, who works for us. Everybody knows Mickey. So previous lives, Mickey was a construction manager, and I think I was a crewman at the time. And it was a crew made up of all young guys. We were all probably within 5 years of our career. So all very early, but all very gung-ho, we were just go-getters. Give us a problem, we're going to go solve it. And so somehow we all ended up on the same team, and a lot of senior teams around us, but somehow we would get the more challenging jobs. And so Mickey put us on a job, and it was to go in and do a bunch of rewiring in an existing location. And so we're doing our wiring, it's on live circuits, doing all this stuff. At the end of the day, we packed up, headed out. And so we get a call a couple hours later, said, hey, the lights are not working at this crossing that you guys were just working at. And we're all like, oh my God, this is bad. We're all gonna get fired. That's what we think, we're all gonna get fired. And so we go out to the site, we figure out what happened. Made the repairs. It was a simple mistake. It was a simple check that we didn't do after the work was done that would have caught it. And so we're all, again, ready to get the riot act, And so, but that's what Mickey said was, hey, if you're not working hard, if you're not trying, you'll never make a mistake. And so I think that's a really good point. Is let people make mistakes. We didn't get the riot act read to us. Obviously, it stuck with me because I'm still reciting that story to this day, and that was, God only knows how long at this point. That was 20 years ago, probably at this point. But that was an example of a mistake very early in my career. Management handled it properly. I learned from it, and I would never make that mistake again. So, that's one.
So, next question. What, at this point in your career, and I feel like, you just being a natural problem solver, will probably contribute to this, but at this point in your career, what continues to motivate you to pursue excellence?
Yeah, that's an easy one too. Again, my motivation now is simply to solve a particular problem. If you had asked me 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you want to grow in your career, you want to be more financially stable, you want to do all these different things. I'm getting older, admittedly, and now what motivates me every day is to wake up and think, here's a problem that no one has solved, and we're trying to solve it, and that's, with the Rail Century program. And it is hard. I mean, it's really hard. But instead of shy, and there's been times where we go, God, is it even possible, to do what we're doing? But it is possible, and we are doing it. And so just to see the progress that we've made, to see where we're headed, I tell people it's a noble cause. We're literally trying to save lives. You and I were talking before the cameras got fired up about, what we're doing at Broadway on Caltrain. Annually, historically, 1.4 accidents a year, which are catastrophic. Since we've been in service, 0 accidents in 6 months, which we should have, by the numbers, we should have seen an accident now. I don't know how you can't be motivated when you wake up every day and you get to think, hey, I get to help prevent accidents. Mm-hmm. And so it's been something, again, coming out of the signal side, out of the railroad side. Safety is, operational safety is number one. So occupational safety is right there with it, but your job is to prevent train accidents from happening, either at grade crossings or signal systems, right? That's your mission, keep accidents from happening. And so now we're taking it to another level with this whole thing. And so it's been ingrained from me for 27 years, and it still motivates me today is that opportunity to get up and solve. This one's neat. No one solved it yet. And so we're taking a pretty big swing here, so yeah.
Yeah, and finally, last question here for you. If there was somebody watching this video that wanted to be in your shoes one day, what is the number one piece of advice that you would give them?
Number one piece of advice would be, I had no idea what I was doing 27 years ago. I did the basics. I showed up early, worked hard, learned everything that I could, tried to improve myself every day, which is difficult but achievable. And slowly over time, a career is an evolution. So it doesn't mean that you are going to be on the same path every day. It's not going to be that you're going to, I've got it all worked out. I went to college for this, and I'm going to do this every day. That's not how life works. So I think being flexible, understanding that you need to be malleable, understand that you may need to change based on the career, based on the position, based on the project. Just do what needs to be done. And don't let your title, don't let your position, don't let any of that stuff get in the way of you doing what you need to do to get the job done.